I'm at Mumby Church, just a couple miles up the road from Hogthorne Church, which I did with the mobile, with the Kodak. Kodak didn't charge up very well. Neither of them are charging very well. But I'm trying to do, say, one particular church all on the same video. So this morning on the mobile, you'll have the walk along the coast at Chapel St Leonard, and now you've got Mumby Church. It is quite late, so I don't imagine it being open, and it does look, they're all getting quite, to be quite honest, they're all getting quite run down. I think it's sad to see it, really. This one looks locked. They do lock them quite early, mind, 5 o'clock-ish. This one obviously needs a lot of help. It looks a lovely church as well, but it's locked. I don't even know if it's open at all. It looks very, very unloved. Look at all the green around the paintwork and everything. There's no money, you see, but it looks a lovely doorway, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? A really lovely doorway. You can tell it's a lovely old church. You can tell by looking at the graves, they all look sadder than usual. Yeah, the mobiles are not doing very well because I can't get them charged properly, so it's very bitty and it keeps turning off because it needs more power. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk around the church and look at these old graves. It looks more like sort of another, this part, the tower looks like 18th century, and that bit, the older part. Towers often fall down and have to be replaced. But there's lots of graves in here, look. Elon's family, the Fletchers and all that, they're from here. But all the graves look very, very... The only way I can really do it, which I've partly done anyway, is through the burial records. To find a grave, like if they're totally covered up, but if I can get the plot, the plot helps. But of course I don't live up here. I can't just pop up and see where it is, you know, and take pictures of it, maybe tidy it up a bit. Payne family there. There's nobody dedicated to churches anymore, I'm afraid. Look, the council won't fund it probably to have it, Pickerings. Funny name that. Sarcison. Looks very, very unkept, doesn't it? Robinsons. I'm just going to do some basic scanning, everyone. On this mobile as well this morning, I did Chapel St Leonard's Church. Very old graves. Very hard for me to know who they are, though. A lot of them unmarked. Another Payne. Payne seems to be a popular name. I'm looking for some basic names. Draper, Fletcher, Christian. I think it's Hornshaw. Some very weird names. So you just can't read them. Won't you see all the green on them like that? They're damp. Nobody can do the work that needs doing on you know, sealing everything. Rebecca Dells, or is that Dells or Diggs? Not sure. Dells. Another one of those Saracen graves again. I've seen that in the other churchyard. All hidden behind here, by the way. Be a good idea to come in the winter, wouldn't it? It's always a good time to do grave hunting. All this would die down. There's loads of graves here. There's more than likely some of Elon's mother's family here. It's a lovely, lovely county, Lincolnshire, isn't it? It would be so nice to find one grave, wouldn't it? There's some very funny names here. Somebody said it's Viking. I think it's more likely Danish. Some of the names, actually. Right, I'm going to turn off for a minute, folks. I haven't got a lot of battery left, and the other one's dead as well. I just want to do photos. Over and out for a minute. As you can see, there's an awful lot. If I find a relevant grave, I'll put it back on straight away. Just a short video. God, you know, this church looks completely different with the sunshine and its grass cut. It looks like it's been given some love. I mean, I came the other night, had a long chat with several people about the church, actually, about 3 different people, all to do with the church. And I said to them, this church is of significance. It's got some beautiful architecture. It should be rescued and cared for, because it was terrible there. When I came the other day, it was, mind you, it was grim, and the graves all look really sad because you know they've cut more back so you can see the graves that are hiding. And I met a man today, and he was quite upset. He was something to do with another church, but his grandparents, I think he said his grandparent, and he was about my age or older, his grandparents are buried here, and he was from another church, and he said it was just money. It's getting the money to save, because they're historic buildings, really. They're, you know, some of them come from after the 1066, the rapid building of these churches. They come from those times. Not every bit of it, but you know. This Mumby church, by the way, at a place called Mumby, and do you know what? This place, if you compare the 2 videos and photos that I did 3 days ago, you wouldn't think it was the same place. Since they've been out, because I did have a long chat with the next warden and a treasurer and somebody else, about 4 people during my church tree work, and I'm really impressed about this beauty of this church. There's no way it should be neglected. It's got the most gorgeous porch. But of course it isn't open for me to go inside. I'll be able to get it online. But see, nobody goes to church anymore. They've got nobody comes here. They have to go to another church. So these beautiful buildings are just going to fall into ruin. Or they could be taken over by another religion. The Muslim faith could get hold of it, which is better than losing it, isn't it? It's still a place of worship, but it's a Christian church. It's our heritage. You know, I'm not saying there are people in our country. We're multicultural, we're multi-religion, but basically we are really based on the Church of England, but before that it wasn't the Church of England, it was the Church of Rome. And it's sparkling again. It even looks like someone's given it a wash. It looked so sad the other day, and I couldn't believe it, and I've got the video and the photos. They've totally tidied it up, so they might have done anyway, but basically it was a very sad sight, and I've got it on video. But now even the brickwork is looking sparkling. The tower is standing tall. Because the girl, warden woman, she's always campaigned to get glass doors put on to protect the porch. But, you know, money's tight. And some people favour other churches and they get the money. They should really spread it out more. But it looks, if I take you in there now, it does look dilapidated. But if you look at the architecture and the engineering that went into doing this, is it Romanesque type architecture with the pillars? This is not a round arch like the Saxons or the early Christians, is it? It's more Romanesque. I used to know more. I can't remember everything anymore. But look at these lovely... Some people will know all the names of these columns and sort of plinty things. But then you look down there, look at the green and the mould. It all needs freshening up, but done properly. You can't just put soap and water on these ancient stone. You know? And all these carved features. You know, and that sort of shape there. I said to them, I said, the porch is absolutely gorgeous. You imagine it when it was first sculptured. You know, this was a grand church. I don't even have a notice in the window. I mean, how nasty is that? Not even putting notice in there to announce its proper name, which I've forgotten. It might be outside. I don't know. The parish of Mumby. I've got it written down. I have found it. Millennium Project supported by funds from the National Lottery. I wonder when that still exists. So you do look brighter, and the wooden ceiling doesn't look too bad. But one of the men, not the treasurer, but he could have been a type of treasurer, was telling me how they've had to put on another church I visited this morning, just by pure chance. He happened to be there as well, and he was telling me how they've had to put artificial lead on, that looks like lead, to deceive the robbers who've been nicking the roof for years. But of course they will be clever and they'll know it's fake. But it looks like lead. Anyway, folks, I expect I'm boring you all to tears.